cash a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need a pill. And life gon' get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by Final Form Supplements. Final Form Supplements is a supplement brand with honesty labeling. So the labeling in supplements is Wild Wild West. Sometimes labels aren't honest. They have things in there that's on in there. We don't have to worry about that with Final Form Supplements. We got everything you need from protein powder, creatine, skin care, soap for your skin, handcrafted soap, and we have all kinds of things. Go to finalformsubs.com, that's S-U-P-P-S, finalformsubs.com, use promo code COACHSTRIB, all caps, no space, get 10% off your order, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe on whichever video you're watching here at Ivy Talks Podcast Network, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the NFL coverage. Today we're going to go over week 7 statistical leaders, and then we are going to cover the games that are the matchups for week 8. So Thursday night we had the Broncos versus the New Orleans Saints. Broncos win 33-10. We had the last game of the London series for the NFL was the Patriots Jaguars. Jaguars get it done. Their second win of the season, 32-16 over New England Patriots. Buffalo Bills beat the Tennessee Titans 34-10. No surprise there. The Colts take down the Miami Dolphins 16-10. And yes, with Anthony Richardson is back. So I know they had Joe Flacco while Anthony Richardson was out, but Anthony Richardson is back. He played decent. Well, he played okay. He was 10 for 24, and he had 129 yards. To be honest, he didn't play very well, but they got the dub there from pretty much the ground game. The Detroit Lions, like I had said last week, I thought the Detroit Lion matchup-wise was going to be a good one for the Minnesota Vikings, so I was speculating or expecting maybe the Vikings to take their first L this season against Detroit Lions, and they do. Detroit Lions win 31-29. The Bengals beat the Browns 21-14, and Deshaun Watson tears his Achilles tendon, so he was going to be out for the rest of the season there for Deshaun Watson. The Packers beat the Houston Texans 24-22. Packers are quietly good. Nobody's really talking about the Packers, but they are 5-2, and Jordan Love is playing great ball thus far this year. Seattle beats the Falcons 34-14. Miami dominates the New York Giants, or not Miami, Philadelphia Eagles dominate the New York Giants 28-3. Commanders beat the Panthers 40-7. Again, Washington Commanders are another team. People are talking about Jaden Daniels, but I don't think people are talking about how well that this Washington Commanders team is playing. They kind of are, but I still think that they're kind of flying under the radar, really, when you want to talk about teams that could potentially be contenders for the NFL. Again, I know it's early, but still they are 5-2. And Jaden Daniels is playing great. Jaden Daniels is playing great ball this year. But specifically with this game, it's actually showing the depth that the Washington Commanders have, because Jaden Daniels gets hurt. Marcus Mariota comes in, and he plays. I'm as a Marcus Mariota fan, drafted by the Titans. I was a fan of him at Oregon, won the Heisman, drafted by the Tennessee Titans, had a good playoff run with made it to AFC Championship. So, again, I'm a huge Marcus Mariota fan. He comes in, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, as well as 34 yards on the ground. So Marcus Mariota is kind of showing his ability to continue the offensive play at the level that they've been playing offensively, even with Jaden Daniels being out, which I think isn't being talked about enough. But Washington Commanders get their dub 40-7. Rams beat the Raiders 20-15. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the 49ers 28-18. With this win over the 49ers, I think it's time to start respecting Kansas City a little bit more. But But again, it's still a weird situation because offensively, they are struggling. Their defense is holding it down. Offensively, they're struggling. Patrick Mahomes had 154 yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, on the ground, they got it done. Kareem Hunt had 2 rushing touchdowns, 78 yards. Patrick Mahomes did have a rushing touchdown, and he had 39 yards rushing. Hardman had 38 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. So they're really getting it done on the ground because they aren't really getting anything done in the run game or the pass game. Now, I will say some breaking news that happened this past week, or I think this was yesterday, that the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, my Tennessee Titans is completely destroying their team, basically. But we traded away DeAndre Hopkins for a conditional 5th-round pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. So now the Kansas City Chiefs pick up DeAndre Hopkins. Will DeAndre Hopkins work out in Kansas City? I don't know. But what I will say is you have a guy who is a veteran, who has been there at a high level, especially look at D-Hop when he's with the Texans. I mean, you talk about one of one, top of the league at receiver. And you got a guy that even though he might not be producing as he should or with the Titans and the injury proneness, when he's on the field and you throw him the ball, he is one of those guys that's a for sure catch. He might transition into a possession receiver, maybe a 3rd down possession receiver or a mid to short level receiver. I don't know if they will use him as a downfield threat, but I do think Kansas City gets better just because of the name of D-Hop, and he's going to garner some level of attention defensively when guys are playing against them. But we'll see in terms of stat production what D-Hop does here in the next few weeks. But again, Kansas City, they are 6-0. The wins aren't ugly, but they're getting it done, and this probably might be the most dominant win they've had against the 49ers. Solid team, 10-point win. So we'll have to keep our eyes on the Kansas City Chiefs because I do think they will start to play better as time go on. But they are, to their defense, they are very heavily injured. They are heavily injured, but they're still finding ways to get done. Jets, Steelers, 37-15. This is interesting because the Pittsburgh Steelers start off 4-2. Justin Fields seemed like he was gonna be the guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Mike Tomlin makes a decision to bench Justin Fields to start Russell Wilson. And everybody was like, why would you do this? It makes no sense. Justin Fields, they're 4-2, they're a winning record, etc., etc. But Russell Wilson, it seemed to have paid off. 2 passing touchdowns, 264 yards, no interceptions, and he also had a rushing touchdown. So we'll see, but Pittsburgh gets it done 37-15 over the Jets. You got to remember, he did this. I talked about this one of the games last year. I was interested to see. He did this against the number 2 defense in the league. So it's not like he was playing against this powder puff defense. He was playing against a solid, well-established defense on all 3 levels: their front line, their linebackers, and their secondary. 37-15 over the Jets. And then Ravens. Oh my goodness, the Ravens and Tampa Bay game was so exciting to watch. Just to see Lamar Jackson out there getting whatever he wants, having fun. And the Bucs kind of fighting back. It was looking pretty bad there, but then they tried to come back again. Ravens win 41-31. Mark Andrews, I believe he had 2 touchdowns. Mark Andrews becomes the Ravens' all-time leader in receiving touchdowns at 42. Lamar Jackson has 5 touchdowns. So Lamar Jackson is those 3. He had 5 incompletions for the whole night. He was 17 of 22, 281 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. 5 passing touchdowns. Only 5 incomplete. He had as many touchdowns as he did incompletions at 5. But not only that, Derrick Henry on 15 carries, 169 yards, and he only played 2 quarters. He played the first quarter. He didn't play the second or third quarter for some reason. Like late in the third, he comes back in. He only had 4 carries. So 15 carries, 169 yards, an average of 11.3 yards per carry. No touchdowns, but he did have a receiving touchdown. Lamar Jackson had 52 rush yards. Zay Flowers had 19 rush yards. But again, receiving, Bateman, 4 catches, 121 yards, receiving touchdown. Hill, 3 targets, 44 yards, receiving touchdown. Mark Andrews, 4 catches, 41 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 1 catch, 13 yards, one receiving touchdown. So I think even though the Ravens have that loss to Kansas City, they kind of struggled a little bit earlier in the season, the very beginning. But I think they're clicking, they're figuring it out. I think they could win out the rest of the season. And I think they could end up, depending on how Kansas City, I don't think Kansas City stays undefeated. I do think they'll eventually get a loss or two. I could see Baltimore finishing 15-2. But we'll see. I think on paper, statistically, I think they're playing the best ball right now. Will they continue that momentum? We will see. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they lost Chris Godwin tears his ACL. Debo, I don't remember if not Debo, that's 49ers. Chris Godwin gets ACL injury. Is that Chris Godwin? Actually, hang on, let me double check. Because I don't remember if Chris Godwin, I might be getting the Bucs mixed up with the 49ers because I know Brandon Ayuk had a really bad injury, but I'm pretty sure Chris Godwin got injured. Let me check the injury. Yes, Chris Godwin messed up his ankle. Chris Godwin got hurt and Mike Evans got hurt. Their number one and their number two receiver both go down in this game. So it's going to be a big hurt or loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chargers, Cardinals. Cardinals get the dub 17-15 there. And the bye weeks was Chicago, Dallas. So let's go over statistical leaders real quick, and then we'll fly through week 8 in the matchups. Passing yards, Baker Mayfield at 1859. Passing touchdowns, Baker Mayfield at 18 passing touchdowns. Receiving yards, Jamar Chase at 620. Receiving touchdowns, Jamar Chase at 6. Rushing yards, Derrick Henry at 873. Rushing touchdowns, tied first is Derrick Henry and Kyren Williams for the LA Rams. Interceptions, Xavier McKinney of the Green Bay Packers. Defensive tackles, Zaire Franklin for the Colts at 76. And sacks is Dexter Lawrence with 9 sacks on the season. And then looking at the matchups for week 8, we have Thursday night, Vikings versus Rams. I think Vikings will probably get this one done. It is a small point differential. They're expecting Vikings is a 3-point favorite, so they're expecting a close game. We'll see how that rocks. But again, Vikings are 5-1. Oh, you know what? I forgot to go over the standings. The AFC and the NFC. So by division, and I'm just going to name these in order of first to fourth. AFC East, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, New England Patriots. AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. AFC South, Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. AFC West, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. NFC East, Commanders, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants. NFC North, Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. NFC South, Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers. NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and the LA Rams. Okay, now we can go back to the matchups. Sunday, we have Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Okay, I'll just check some. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Then we have Indianapolis Colts at Texans, Packers at Jacksonville, Tennessee Titans at Detroit, Falcons at Bucks, Jets at Patriots, Cardinals at Dolphins, Eagles at Bengals, Saints at Chargers, Bills at Seahawks, Bears at Commanders, Chiefs at Raiders, Panthers at Broncos, Dallas at San Francisco, Giants at Pittsburgh. No team has a bye this week. Games are going to be interested in watching. Obviously Tennessee Titans, but I'm pretty sure Detroit's going to take that victory. Again, the Titans were the type of team where teams were supposed to were supposed to lose to, we beat. Teams were supposed to beat, we'll lose to. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we have like a fluke game or something and the Tennessee Titans win this. But Detroit should take that dub fairly easily. I actually don't really have too many games I think are going to be like games that are really my games of the week. Maybe Jets and Patriots, because I think if the Jets can't get the win, If Jets can't win against the Patriots, I think the Jets season you can almost toss in the toilet. As an Aaron Rodgers fan, I do not want to say that, but if the Jets, with the number 2 defense in the NFL, now their defense dropped to 6th after this past season statistically, but their passing defense is 2nd. But if the Jets can't get it done against the struggling New England Patriots, then I don't think the Jets do anything this year. Obviously, they're 2-5. There's still 10 games left, so you can flip it around. But I think this is do or die for the Jets right here. You got Aaron Rodgers. He's healthy. He's playing the whole season. You pick up Devontae Adams. You got Garrett Wilson. You got that crazy defense with Sauce Gardner. You got Breece Hall at running back, stud. So you have all the pieces, but it's just not. You got Allen Lazard. It's just not clicking together. So I think this is do or die. If you lose against the Patriots, I think the morale gets destroyed, the confidence gets destroyed, and I think it's slippery slope downhill because the Patriots are 1-6. They're one of the bottom teams in the NFL. And then as well as, I think I might be interested in this one for the Miami Dolphins and the Cardinals because I believe they're expecting Tua Tagovailoa to come back this week. So I will be interested to see that if Tua is, if he's I think it's game time decision. But if they say he is going to play, then I'm interested to see how he bounces back from that. You know, he has a history of these aggressive, severe concussions. How does he bounce back from that, his first game back? So that is a maybe, depending on if he plays or not. If he's active and if he plays, that game will definitely be on the game of the week, games to watch. That's what I'm going to call it, games to watch. We have the Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, if Tua plays. And we have the Jets, Patriots, because it's do or die for Jets. And then lastly, I'm going to go Dallas, 49ers. Both teams are not doing as well as they'd hoped. 49ers was a very dominant team last year. They had a great season last year. They have all the pieces. Again, they are hurt. Brandon Ayuk out for the season with the torn ACL, MCL. You got Debo, who had fluid in his lungs. He had the flu. He didn't play. Christian McCaffrey is out with the tendonitis in his Achilles. So again, you have a really hurt team. Can you still find ways to win as you try to get guys back healthy? Next man up kind of thing. So that's 49er side. Dallas side, you just made Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. You have a guy like CeeDee Lamb, who also got a fat contract extension. You have that defense that we've been harping on. They got to get this win while they have this defense. And it seems like they're starting to fall apart. Their defense statistically is 23rd in the NFL. Their offense is 12th. But we know the playmakers they have on defense with Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons, et cetera, et cetera. Can you get those guys in positions to make plays, get takeaways, and offensively, can you get some momentum offensively? And I think that I don't want to say this is do or die for either of these teams, but this matchup I think the timing of this matchup is crucial. 49ers are 3-4, Dallas is 3-3. So Dallas, can you get a win against a respectable team? 49ers, can you get a win against a respectable team with the injuries? So this is kind of one of those adversity games. We got to figure it out right here, right now, so we can get back to winning football. So those are my 3 games to watch. Dallas Cowboys, 49ers, Jets, Patriots, Arizona Cardinals, and Miami Dolphins, if Tua is playing. Those are my games to watch for Week 8. That's going to be all for this episode of the NFL coverage. Appreciate you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.
Destiny, I'm gonna chase my dreams.